Hi, hello, I'm Chrissy, and welcome to the second sketchbook page video of 2025. Yes, another sketchbook video soon after the other. That's because I really enjoy working in sketchbooks, and I don't share enough of that art here, so we are fixing that. Usually traditional art videos don't perform as well as other content, and it is harder to record. However, traditional art gives me a wonderful break from digital art because while my art style remains the same between the both of them, each is an experience of their own, and after doing so many speed draws and animations, opening a sketchbook, and drawing for a bit is a breath of fresh air. If you like the traditional art videos and want to see more, please do share the video around so we can get a bit more of a push on them. Before I run into my ramble, I just want to say I'm going to be doing a quick intro here, of course, but this is a long-hauled traditional art video. If you are not interested in watching a long time of me talking about drawing and my sketchbook, then don't. I know sometimes it's a little hard to sit through my videos, so I just want to give a fair warning here. I'm going to give my little intro spiel of all of my stuff, and I will put in timestamps for where you can skip in between where you want to watch specific parts of the video. If you are new to my traditional art videos and are interested in seeing more of them and what they are about, I have a playlist below and in the iCard above you can go check out. If you want to see this drawing in a speed draw format, without me talking, you can find that on my Extras channel, and if you would like to see the raw footage of my art with background music, you can find that on my Uncut channel. Also, I am really trying to get monetized at some point, so sticking around for the whole length of the video helps my watch time, so stick around if you would like to support me that way. Of course, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to support me as well, and share the video. This video is perfect to draw along with. Like I said, we're in it for the long haul. So if you care to tag along, grab a sketchbook or something to draw with and we can draw together. I used a ton of different supplies, and I mean a lot. A lot of mixed media on this sketchbook spread, so today I encourage you to use as many art supplies as possible. At the end of the video, you will see why I'm challenging you to do this because I may have went a bit overboard myself. Of course, my sketchbook spread is character related like the majority of my art, so maybe you also have some characters you want to draw as well. I know I always have some sitting around that need fresh art, or if you care to draw the characters in today's video, feel free to do so and send it to me in the Discord server linked below. I would love to see any of your art. Now with that little ramble out of the way, let's get into the actual art part of the video. Quick sketchbook intro. Alright guys, we are in it for the long haul for this video, jumping into the art idea process and why I chose to make this specific video. I have an old sketchbook I started in 2022. Not that old, obviously, because it's 2025. I set out for it to be finished in that year, 2022, which clearly I didn't finish because I'm working on it in this video. To give past Chrissy credit, I got like really far. Much farther than I ever have. There are only 30 pages, maybe less, to fill out. So I didn't want to start going all out on my current 2025 sketchbook while this one was sitting around, not being touched, collecting dust. The goal is to be swapping between the two. I like working on 2 sketchbook spreads at a time because with traditional art, there are times where I am waiting for things like glue and paint to dry. Switching between 2 makes it so there's no time to waste. Now on to another reason why I grabbed this sketchbook. This sketchbook is one of my chunky sketchbooks. I love stuffing things in my sketchbook. Extra pages, stickers, weird textured things. Today I added ribbons, rhinestones, and washi tape. I don't get to use these things in digital art, obviously. So for me, it's satisfying to use the extra little things. Not because it may look good or be necessary to the art piece, it's just because it's a new process of art I don't normally get to do. This sketchbook has extra little decorations in it that's made it pretty thick. The binding is coming off and no longer closes the way it should, but today we are going to be making that worse. Much worse. Jumping into session 1, the first thing I did was I saw a red folder. Like one of those you would buy for school, except it wasn't plastic. It was made of a heavier paper material. Since it seemed pretty durable, I thought it would be a good filler in between some pages. Not something too thin where it'll fall out or tear out or get damaged, something heavier so it won't get ripped off in the dramatic opening of my sketchbook. I do have a container of various papers that I save from packaging or other scrapped things we do not waste in this household. This folder was in there, so it was just asking to be used for once. My first thought was to create the pages to look like some envelope. The folder was red, so I thought of a cute little love letter theme. I had plenty of paper from the folder to cut off and then some extra, so I knew I was going to commit to this idea. Whenever I have an idea on my sketchbook, I always try to commit to it fully. I can always redo the idea or retry it in a different format, so when an idea pops up, I just go for it. And we're gonna see how well it plays out, even if it's a good idea or a bad idea. Now that my baseline idea is a love letters theme, I need to find a character that matches the themes and colors. I actually don't have a ton of red color characters, at least not a lot that matched what I wanted to do for this page. I really only had one character I felt fit, so I chose Cherry. Cherry is confusing to me because I designed her in a 3 random emoji character design video. Let's just say I wasn't thrilled with her. I'm sure in the video I was happy with her. Like, don't get me wrong, okay? She is a cute character, simple and sweet. She gets the job done. I just had no ideas with her. Like, the spark between us was nothing. We went on a blind date. I took one good look at her, took a drink and said, "You're cute, but I don't see a future between us." That happens with my characters sometimes, and when that happens, it usually ends up 2 ways. I either give that character to Katie, because usually if I don't like the character, Katie's obsessed with it, or I just wait and see what happens. Sometimes I will just poke at the character every once in a while and just kind of coexist with it, but Cherry surprisingly became one of my most favorite extras characters. This is because I paired her with one of my other characters I drew in a different character redesign video, which is Citrus, one of my male characters, and I made them a couple. This gave me a reason to draw her more and get to experience her in a relationship and outside of that. If you are curious to see an animation I did with them together, you can look in the iCard above where I did the Lemon Boy animation meme. Moving on to the actual art on screen, I went with a sort of half body shot. I wanted the focus to be on the letter she was holding over her mouth. I sketched out my first drawing with a pencil, using a ruler to make sure she was centered on the page. It was a bit of a risk drawing her face straight on because I'm not that good at it, but having the lines that centered the page made it easier to place the components on her face and align with everything else. Luckily for me, I have a drawing of a headshot of her straight on, so I've had a bit of practice and had something to reference. I wanted the focus to be the letter, but I also like the way the ribbons on the page on the hat make your eyes drift to the right, almost reading over the page. I like how flowy it is. The cherries added on top are also so cute. I didn't want to do just basic details. I wanted to just add whatever I wanted as I went, and I felt like more cherries would be fun because she is Cherry, of course. If you have seen my past traditional art videos, my go-to line art is usually black ink liners or dip pens. Recently though, I have been doing line art with a medium toned color or lighter color, maybe between a pastel or like, you know what I mean by when I say like medium toned things, I hope. Not a dark color, something that can be overlaid and still kind of be seen, not super light, but like not super dark. Just in the middle. This gives me the line art look and idea, but if I mess up the line art a little, it's okay, since it isn't a super dark color, just enough for me to see it over my pencil sketch. This allows me afterwards to color in what I need to and see how the colors sit next to each other. I like this way of doing line art because I can focus on shading the colors together based on actual colors, not based off how it sits next to the line art. Once I got all my color blocking in, I took a mix of markers and colored pencils shading everything. Cherry is a very pale girl, so not much shading on her face other than light pinks and some reds for her little cheekies. You will see me bouncing between all these movements of coloring and shading. This is because I get bored of one section sometimes and decided to jump between different parts. Once I felt I needed to put in the line art, I grabbed a dark red marker in the lines. That doesn't make sense. I grabbed a marker and I started lining with the dark red color. You can see the lighter pink peeking out under the line art. I just like the look of this. It makes the harsh dark color of the line art not so harsh between it and the base color. It's almost adding like a buffer between the colors as a transition color for the line art and adds a little bit of depth as well. Also, I did do all line art here, but I could have just done line art in the super dark shadows and left the lighter lines as the line art, and that would have given the line art its own shadows. I didn't do that here, but maybe that's something to think about in the future. I actually got to do something I have never done before. I got to use some washi tape that I had lying around. I'm not someone who uses washi tape. Whenever I use it in daily work, I either, one, feel bad for using it because it's too pretty, so I never just want to use it for its basic purpose, which is to be tape. And two, it never sticks, like ever. Like I always try to get it to stick to certain papers and it just never wants to cooperate. On my sketchbook paper, it did stick, even on top of the marker and colored pencil. On my sketchbook, it stuck. Shockingly enough, this washi tape was just perfect for this because Cherry's patterns are, wait for it, cherries. So the cherry washi tape fit perfectly. Who would have guessed? This pattern is featured on her dress and hat, so I wanted to get that in my drawing without having to draw a bunch of little cherries. I decided to use the washi tape using an X-Acto knife to cut off the excess I didn't need. I think I've seen Drawing with Waffles do this, and that's where my brain is remembering seeing someone do this technique. I wish I could remember who it was so I could give credit, but I'll just say it was a Drawing with Waffles video and I'll link her in the description. I was skeptical, of course, because I didn't want to just scratch up the paper underneath and cut the page below, but I didn't have a single problem with it. I genuinely recommend it. If you are doing regular drawings with your characters and want to spice it up, just grab some washi tape and you can add fun pattern washi tape to your characters' outfits or just blocking things in with it. After that, I shaded the washi tape to make sure it wasn't so blinding white and matched the rest of the page and added some highlights on her with my white liner Jelly Roll pen. Moving on to session 2. Now, we haven't fully jumped into the art part where we make this an actual folded letter envelope, and we will get there. First, I want to figure out what I am drawing on the inside. I got the envelope pieces cut out and know exactly the shape and size of them. The main sketchbook spread is a half body shot, so I wanted to do 2 full body shots of Cherry to really showcase her design in this a little more. I tried to choose 2 poses that were different and unique to each other. The main spread has a dead-on headshot, so I did one with a side view and one with a third view to try and cover as many different angles with Cherry as I could. I thought about trying different outfits of her here, but I decided to stick to her main outfit. While I have been drawing her more than some of my other characters, drawing her doesn't come as easily, and I wanted to make sure I drew something that was perfectly her and not complicate things by trying to add new outfits. The main page also didn't capture her whole dress, so I felt the bottom 2 should at least do that. Once again, I started out with a pencil sketch and went over it with a medium toned marker, this time with a Sharpie fine liner. For the longest time, I was afraid of using my Sharpies because I use them to color in drawings, and it just wouldn't look good because I could never get the right colors, and Sharpie colors are no joke. They can be light and pastel or dark and pigmented. So if you're afraid of incorporating markers like Sharpies, consider using them in a step you wouldn't normally use them. Instead of using Sharpies for color blocking, I decided to use them in this drawing as my first line art base. Once I did that, I went in with some more forgiving markers and blocked in all my colors. The line art on these are different than the main page because I decided to use my favorite liner, which is the Tombow liner. It is my favorite of all time. After a while of use though, the nib on it gets dull and down and it's harder to get precise lines, so if you do get this, try to keep that in mind when using it. The line art here is black instead of the dark red I used prior. Using the same colored pencils as the main drawing, I shaded both full body drawings of Cherry and did the final details on her. I added some little cherries on the ends of her dress to represent the cherry pattern, but not having to add the whole things over her outfit. It would just be too busy and I felt like it would look sloppy if I tried to draw them all that small. Jumping into session 3, here is where we get into designing the actual letter envelope for the page. Here, you can see the red paper I cut from that scrapped folder. I knew I wanted it to have some sort of ribbon effect going down the middle and have one bow on each flap of the envelope to keep it shut. These bows are the same one on Cherry's dress and hat. I used some acrylic paint blocking in the ribbon and colored pencil to shade it in and give it some depth on the page. I drew out my bows and colored them in. Using an X-Acto knife, I cut them out. Now this envelope gets complicated fast, and I mean real fast. Since this isn't a character drawing and this is just Chrissy decorating a page, I tend to get dramatic and carried away, to say the least. I'm someone who keeps poking and prodding at things until I like them, and sometimes that means I never stop poking and prodding. I added stripes, I added rhinestones, ribbons, washi tape, acrylic paint, and stitch markings with a marker. I knew I wanted the page to be filled to the maximum, and I mean maximum. I like when things have a lot going on. I definitely achieved that. Okay, this may just be the Chrissy blindness, but I like it. I don't know, I like how there's a lot going on. We have moved on from Chrissy is an artist to Chrissy just likes goofing off and having a good time. Cause like truly that's what this is. Like, can you blame me? Like, I don't get to do this in digital art, like just in traditional art. So having a time and place to just goof off is so nice. Especially when it involves rhinestones, like, ooh. Rhinestones. As I kept adding and adding things, Katie was watching me, laughing of course, cause like, yeah, this is pretty ridiculous, but I'm also ridiculous. Hi, I'm Chrissy. I like the little details added in, the marking of the stitches in the page, all the paint colors blocked in, filling the spaces around the rhinestones, the light pink going down the middle of the ribbons, the way the direction of the washi tape matches the direction of the envelope flaps. It's a lot to look at, but it's fun. Sketchbooks should be fun, and you shouldn't have to sit there and think you're doing too much or too little. You get to touch and fix your sketchbook as much as you want to, and no one can tell you otherwise. Now, moving into the final session, session 4. This is where we do the final things. Now that the main page, front envelopes, and our full bodies are drawn, let's get them in and add the final touches on the inside. I actually taped in the full body drawings because I couldn't find my glue stick, which funnily enough, I went back upstairs after I taped those into my sketchbook, looked in my room, and then made eye contact with the glue stick, and I thought, how dare you show your face to me right now when I needed you most? But That was annoying, but fine. I added those in and added some ribbon borders between the sketchbook pages and red folder paper so it looked cleaner. I also gave her little letter another ribbon because you can never have too many ribbons. I also, of course, had to add rhinestones inside and not just on the outside, so I started littering the page with them and adding them throughout all the sections. If you're about to go into the comments and tell me, Chrissy, that's enough slices, you don't need to do no more, you don't think I know that? Well, you think I accidentally dropped my sketchbook in a bagger full of rhinestones? I'm fully aware. I don't need to do all this. I wanted to do all that and then some because I liked it. By this point, Katie was actually telling me I hit the limit and it was too much, so don't feel bad. I'm not listening to you or even Katie at this point. I do what I want. Quick Chrissy interruption. I have my videos rendering up for some of the sessions I was working on this. I just got done adding all the extra gemstones and rhinestones. And you know what? Katie had the audacity to come in here and tell me, I think you did it. I think you did too much with the rhinestones, Chrissy. I think you did too much. And you know what? Don't ever let anybody stop you from achieving your dreams. Look at that. You joking? I don't give a crap if you think it's too many rhinestones. Look at it. I love it. I'm gonna add some more tape up there, but I just glued down some of the washi tape because it's sticking up. I'm gonna do some little markings in here to separate from like the gemstones and stuff, but this is like we're in the final stretch here. Update. I like the ribbon on here. I think it's cute. I love goofing off so much. These full bodies look really cute anyway. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I was like, oh, Katie told me it's too much. Maybe I should take off some of the rhinestones. And I was like, how about you not? How about you not? Wasabi! Is that you? Is that you? Oh. Is this you? Is this you? Wasabi, how do you feel about the rhinestones? Huh? How do you feel about it? You think they're pretty, huh? Yes, you do. You think they're pretty. Oh, so pretty. Just like you, Ma. So pretty. That's my shoe voice. I love you. He's trying to get on me. Okay. I added some of the washi tape in with the borders, and I decided all the space needs to be filled. If I'm going to go out of my way to make it this busy, it's either all or nothing, baby. So once the glue was dry, I grabbed my marker and started adding some swirls like designs and line work in between the rhinestones. For me, that was the final needed detail. And I did a dark brown on the red paper and moved onto the main page, adding some white swirl lines as well. The only thing I think I would have done differently is made the white not so white with that paint and swirls. The only reason I did leave it a bright white was because of how bright the paper was on the full body drawings. I didn't want those to be the brightest white. I wanted the white on the main page to be more of the focus and not those. So I felt like the brighter white gave a better balance between those, so it was honestly just the different toned paper was the only flaw I felt was with this, which is funny because this spread is crazy. And guess what? We have made it to the final sketchbook spread, and may I say, she's a beaut. What a catch. We will be getting to hear what in real time Chrissy has to say about it, but first, I want to say some final closing words. I know that this isn't for everybody, and that is okay. In fact, I am glad to know that this isn't for everybody, because everybody should know what they like and they don't like. Me, I like over-the-top sketchbook pages that don't always make sense. I had an idea and I committed to it, and I'm more than happy about it, thrilled even. This is the first sketchbook spread I finished in a long time. Like, it's been a really long time. I'm proud of myself for committing and going all the way through because this did take many sessions and a lot of time to do. I want to thank you for sticking around to the end regardless of if you like the final result or not. I do appreciate you and thank you for blessing my watch time hours, drawing with me, and chatting. Now let's hear what Chrissy has to say before we end this video. Alright, we're at the end of the video. Thank you so much for making it all the way. I'm just waiting for Wasabi to bark and interrupt my voice, but this is the end. This is how the sketchbook is sitting. Wow. When I was putting the things in, I wasn't like worried about how it would close, but boy oh boy, she's ready to pop. That's how I like them. No. I love it. I love it so much. Though I've had to re-glue some of these, especially like right here and here, the gemstones, and it's finally finished. You can get... I swear I just heard a gemstone. No! It's fine. That one's already fell. I'll super glue it. See, the glue I was using wasn't that good, so those at the like corners I'll need to super glue. So it's not really that big of a deal. Oh my gosh, there's another one missing. No, my dreams are falling apart at the seams. I will keep gluing these, I don't care. I think that's all of them. That's okay. We will rebuild and recover. I want to do like a final over. Look at that. Beautiful. I love these swirls in there so much. I feel like they just add something. And the top. This was what I was worried about the most, the top here, when I just had the gemstones, because I was like, ooh, I'm not sure I'm gonna make that look a little bit better. But I did. I did it. And I love it. I love it so much. Let me just... It's hard to do this with my left hand. Come on. Come on. There we go. Come on. There. I will fix those, but I'm happy. I'm very happy. I think it's fun. One more step into finishing this sketchbook. I hope you were inspired in some way, or you got a good laugh. I don't care which, or both. But that's it for today's video. I don't have too much to say other than this was fun. Actually, I want to show you. Look at this, look. You joking me? I can't. Like, that's hilarious. I can't wait. It'll be even worse once I get these other pages filled, because don't let you think that this is going to stop me, because it's not. So we will get that finished, and then we will get going on the 2025 sketchbook, which I will actually give you a sneak peek. Here is the 20, look at the difference. Sketchbook covers. That sketchbook cover, it's because I got like really big chunky Poscas for the first time, and I was like, I just want something in my sketchbook, so that's that. That's why it's not like covered or anything. So I actually have started in this sketchbook. Only one of them is being recorded, but I can show you some of the progress. I have started this, which I might finish on camera, but it's just taking me a while. It's supposed to be a play on smoke and mirrors, if my phone will focus, like geez. So she has like a cigarette, and then there's like reflective paper that's supposed to be the smoke. but it like reflects like a mirror. I thought that was an interesting concept, and I chose Belladonna. Belladonna, these are not her colors, but that doesn't matter in a sketchbook. I don't think so, at least. In the next page, I have this close-up of Belladonna's eyes. From this one, I took a sheet of piece of paper and I used my X-Acto knife and cut out all of these. So I had like a frame that had all of these like squiggles missing, so it's gonna go over her eyes. That will make sense when you see the video. And I think the only other thing I have here is like a vent drawing. Possibly, maybe. Oh, y'all ever paint and then you're like, I don't know what to do with this excess paint, so you just shove it over a page? That's what I did. Here you go, a vent drawing. That's dramatic, Chrissy. Anyway. That's an update on that, and that is all I have. So be looking forward to seeing more of these two sketchbooks, me hopefully finishing this one and getting a good start on this one. Hold on, I want to see if they're the same. Yeah, these are the same type of sketchbook, and I've obliterated this one. That's all I have for this video. I plan on doing more sketchbook pages with some more interesting decorations and things. They are my favorite type of sketchbook spreads. Not the easiest, but definitely an experience all the way through. Don't let yourself be stuck in a box. Be inspired by the things you wouldn't normally be. Have fun, shove stickers in your sketchbook, add wrap paper, burn the paper for all I can. I was gonna say, wait, that's a fire idea, but that's not the pun. I wasn't trying to make a pun. I should do like a burn effect in my sketchbook. That'd be really fun. Anyway, you get the point. Don't try to fit yourself in a box. Make the box, in fact. Like always, let me know what you think of today's video. Thanks for sticking around the whole way through, and if you just skipped to the end, thanks for clicking on my video anyway. That's all I have for today. I will see you in the next one. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. If you've anything I could pray for, please let me know in the comments. I love you. God bless you and have a wonderful, wonderful day.